Raise your hand if you ever felt drained by someone. Now keep your hand up if you think you have control over other people. The people who think that people are draining or don't understand how to respect their time is because they haven't shown them how to do it yet. Welcome back to Diving Deep with Brittney. What you can expect from my channel are deep transformational insights, personal and professional growth, and authentic personal branding. Whether or not you're an entrepreneur, I guarantee you'll walk away with some fresh knowledge today. Let's go ahead and dive deep. If you're into personal growth, you're into personal development, then you've probably heard of something called boundaries. Whether or not you try to grow as a person, you probably have heard how important this is to protect your energy. But what even are boundaries? This quote has become so alive within me with the people I've been working with, so I felt very compelled to come on and share this with people. People will treat you how you let them. Let me say that again. People will treat you how you let them. You show people how they can treat you. We can't control other people, but we can control ourselves. It's such an empowering place to come from if you think about it, because we no longer decide that we're playing the victim and other people are dictating how we feel. We decide that we are the master of our reality, and we decide what regulations come into place to make the best experience we can have here. So when we remember that we have the power to control our reality by setting proper boundaries, we're able to create more peace and harmony in our lives. We're able to go out there and meet more people. We're able to make more connections. We're able to build and grow and expand into the ultimate version of ourselves because we understand ourselves so deeply that we know what we like and don't like. We're able to say yes to things that align and no to things that don't. And that's all that boundaries are. Boundaries are not about saying no to other people. Boundaries are about saying yes to ourselves. When you come from that place of love, there's literally no harm that can be done. As long as you consciously communicate that, of course. But no one is taught this. We aren't taught this in school. They don't teach us how to be a human. So that's why it's important for me to come on and share some of these valuable life lessons that I've learned along the way, because it's not easy. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of up, a lot of trial and error to decide what is a healthy boundary. How can I create more peace in my relationships by having solid boundaries in place? And just know, sometimes it's harder to set boundaries later down the line. So the sooner that you're able to come to clarity in what you like and don't like, and you're able to communicate it, the more efficient and more desired experience or outcome you're gonna get. So what are boundaries? It's an internal decision that you make of what you will and will not tolerate. Now, it's not about telling people, oh, off, you know this is my boundary. No. You get to decide how you will act differently based on how people are acting around you. Because we can't control them, but we can control ourselves. This took me forever to understand. As someone who's always giving to other people, I'd always feel bad to try and cut that off because I didn't want to hurt another person. But the consequences in doing that only leads to me getting hurt. So that's why it's so important to learn boundaries so that you can protect your energy and truly show up for who you're meant to be in this world. How do we properly set boundaries? Every problem is a communication problem. So if we're able to master our communication and share our true intentions from a place of love, there's literally no way you can fail. I want to challenge you to this part. You give your power away when you are reactive to other people's actions. You come from an empowered place when you learn how to respond rather than react. Let that sink in. So if you want to learn how to set proper boundaries, first it comes down to really evaluating the situation, because sometimes nothing ever really needs to be said. But sometimes we feel like boundaries are something that need to be said because we're seeking something else. For example, if you're looking for validation and how that person made you feel, maybe you try and project that need onto them by saying, you made me feel this way. What that does is it gives your power away. But the way in which you can keep your power is by first understanding what you truly need. If you understand that what you're looking for is validation, acceptance, approval, and you find a way to provide it within yourself, then maybe the boundary is not even needed. But let's say there is something that does need to be acknowledged, because that is possible as well. Just depending on the severity of the situation, it may require some communication. When it comes to setting a boundary, it's really important that you understand conscious communication. Conscious communication comes from a place of peace and love. So it's really important that you're able to tap into that before you even approach the person. Understand what the desired outcome is that you are looking for. The easiest way to think about this, let's say you're dating someone and they did something to piss you off. Let's say your desired outcome is to continue growing the relationship. So if I'm able to come to that place within myself and remember that I truly love and care for this person and I want to continue growing with them, then I'm able to dispel that charge, that negative energy of why they pissed me off. And then I bring that energy to the conversation. Let's say my man's name is Joe. Hey Joe, I really love what we've been doing together, but something that happened really rubbed me the wrong way and I want to clear the air so that we can continue growing together. I set my intention because I came from a place of love. I was able to find that within myself and tell him what my goal is before I even bring up the problem. Now this is where we apply the sandwich effect. I said something positive, then I'm gonna bring up the negative situation and I'll end it with something positive. Hey Joe, I really want to grow our relationship, but something happened and I really want to clear the air so we can continue growing together. Whenever you went up to Sally and you were dancing on her, it made me really upset. It made me feel really disrespected. It made me feel like I wasn't cared for. Now I know you probably didn't mean that, but I'm sharing this with you so that maybe we can overcome it together. I used the sandwich effect, I stated the facts, and I just shared how I felt. There was no blaming going on. I shared my intention and how I felt. I don't expect anything other than a response. What do you think would have gone better? That scenario or, hey Joe, I cannot believe that you were dancing all over Sally. You are so disrespectful to me. Like, who do you even think I am? That energy was a lot more defensive and it didn't come from a place of love. And this is something that we're not taught, how to access love within ourselves. Learn how to get these thoughts out of your mind and really find clarity with them before you bring it onto the person. You can do this through meditation, through journaling, through speaking with a friend. Shoot, I even use voice notes and talk to myself. Sometimes I even talk to ChatGPT. He's my boy. It's really important to come to clarity with how you truly feel before you even set the boundary with someone should you need to communicate it with them. Now that we understand conscious communication, where does the boundary come into play? The boundary is something that you decide within yourself. Whether or not you communicate it is completely up to you. Let's say that I don't like communicating with people after 9 p.m. I decided that within myself. I decided I no longer communicate after 9 p.m. Let's say someone texts me at 9:30 and I see it and I want to respond to it. But a part of me, I remember the boundary I set with myself. I said I would not talk after 9 p.m. Now, if I decide to respond anyway, I cannot blame it on that person because it was something that I decided within myself and I chose not to honor that. The boundary is something I decided. Whenever I acted differently or someone else acted outside of that boundary is not their fault. It was a choice that I made to act in response to that. A boundary isn't something that always needs to be communicated. In that scenario, maybe I decide not to respond. Maybe I wait till 7 a.m. the next day to respond. Hey Sally, really appreciate you reaching out. I just like to wind down after 9 p.m. Or maybe you don't even need to say anything at all. You just respond at 7 a.m. You get to decide what it looks like, and there's no need for you to explain yourself. That's another thing when it comes to boundaries. Practice not needing to explain yourself. That was a big one for me. You don't owe anyone anything. But of course, if you truly value your relationships, you are welcome to use conscious communication to let people know how you want to be treated. So let's say I told Sally, hey Sally, I don't respond to texts after 9 p.m. Thank you for your understanding. Maybe she'll have that in her awareness next time she reaches out to me at night. Maybe she'll just wait for the next day to reach out to me now that she knows that that's what I prefer. Like I said, this is something where you teach people how you want to be treated. There's literally no way for them to know. And if this isn't something that's bothersome that you even need to mention, then don't mention it. It's all up to you because you are the master of yourself. You are the only person you can control. You are the only one who knows how you truly feel. So you get to decide what would create a more happier outcome for you. Would communicating it help you? Would keeping it to yourself help you? Or doing nothing at all? You truly get to decide what would bring you closer to peace because at the end of the day, you're the only person who truly knows. And just remember, when you set a boundary, it's not up to other people to hold them. It's up to you. You can tell them, but if you have an expectation of other people to remember how to treat you, then it always comes back to the self. Mastering boundaries is going to dramatically shift your life, not only personally, but also professionally. When I used this example in the client club last week, they seriously loved it, so let me share it with you. People don't know how to treat you unless you show them. So as an entrepreneur, something that I run into is people thinking that I can be free for them whenever. Just because I can leave and do what I want when I want doesn't mean I'm available to go get lunch on a Monday. Now, as someone who used to be a people pleaser, the old me might have done something like, oh yeah, I can move some things around my schedule, let me do it. And trust me, there's parts of me that does that sometimes. I can do that sometimes. But I come from a place of deciding what would bring me the best outcome. What brings me the most desired outcome? Is going to lunch on a Monday going to help me feel more at peace? Probably not. Honestly, most times it makes me feel more stressed. So in saying no to that invite and saying yes to myself, I create a better outcome. Because I know my boundaries, I create more harmonious relationships. That's the beautiful thing about boundaries. It really influences how you're perceived by others. No one knows your time schedule. but you can show them. For example, if I'm on a Zoom call and it ends up going over, that's on me. No one knows what your schedule is like. How would I properly set a boundary there? Hey Joe, I'm so excited to hear what you have to tell me, and I have 30 minutes and I would love to hear from you. Then the 30 minutes starts approaching. I have a hard stop. People usually never ask you what the rest of your schedule looks like. The only time they ever do is if they also value their own time like that. So when you learn how to embody the boundaries that are important to you, you naturally attract other people who do the same. Now I often run into people who ask me, oh, do you have a hard stop? There's something that happens when you make this decision within yourself. It sends out this frequency that then brings people like that to your world. There might be other people who still come in and you get to practice holding the boundary still. Oh, I only have 30 minutes to talk. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, I have a hard stop. Let's schedule a follow-up meeting. You get to decide. And the best part is people really appreciate when you tell them that. They see you as an authority. They have more respect. It creates a more harmonious relationship. Who wouldn't want that? People usually respect others who respect themselves. So when you learn how to respect yourself and tell other people what you need and show them, they'll naturally have that same respect towards you as well. Not only does this create a more harmonious relationship, but it helps you be more authentic to yourself. Because you know yourself, you've gotten to know what you like and dislike so well that you have no problem sharing it with people. And you're being true to yourself. You're not lying to people saying, oh, I can make time for you. I'm not too busy. No. You get to decide if you want to value and respect your time so much that you show other people how they can treat you and when you're available for them. This creates such a sense of self-empowerment and freedom. You're no longer letting people take your energy. You are in control of where your energy goes and flows. No one is coming in and taking it away. Because you've decided what you will and will not tolerate. You'll decide what you will and won't let in. The people who think that people are draining or don't understand how to respect their time, is because they haven't shown them how to do it yet. And if you don't know how to show them, maybe it requires a little bit of self-reflection, of understanding the self. What do I need? What would create the best experience for me? Take a second to reflect. What would you appreciate? How do you want to be treated by people? Is there a way for you to effectively communicate it from a place of love? When you respect yourself this way, you will attract other people who also respect you in that same light. And when you learn how to honor this part of yourself, it aligns you with your true self and your purpose. Now, who wouldn't want that? Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson on Diving Deep with Brittney. If you want to get to know me more, follow me on Instagram, subscribe so you can see my latest content. And if you're eager to grow with me, join my free community, the Client Club. The link will be down below. If you're looking for support in your entrepreneurial journey, to surround yourself with more growth-oriented individuals, then this is the place for you. Join the Client Club. We even have group coaching calls on Wednesdays because it's a whole lot different when you're feeling people's energy in the calls. I cannot explain it. It literally feels like a drug. I'm so grateful for you being here, and I hope this message served you. I see you, I value you, and I cherish you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.